Hi everybody, my name is Kara Fowler and I'm doing my book on Pippi Longstocking by Astrid Lindgren. This book is about a 9-year-old that goes through many adventures. She lives alone inside of her house, Villa Vilcula, and she goes through different adventures, like I said, with her monkey, Mr. Nilsson, and sometimes her horse, and also Annika and Tommy. The book that I purchased is colored on the outside, but it's black and white in the inside. There's also many different versions of this. I grew up with the one with like the colored, and she had like a polka dot dress, I think I remember. I never read them, but I always saw them, and I was looking up the book, and that's what I saw, and I was like, oh, that's Pippi Longstocking. I didn't think that was her. But so this book is very black and white. Honestly, the visuals inside this book look like cartoons that you would find in the newspaper. They're very sometimes they're very harsh, sometimes they're very soft looking. The book cover is in color, like I said. The one thing I wanted to mention is these are not the correct color. It should be black and brown, and these are completely different colored. I don't remember if this different stocking color is in the book, but it doesn't really accurately represent like the description that the author gave. And I believe this book falls under many different genres. I believe it's children fiction, also adventure, classic, and humor. I mean, it's Pippi. The book is directed towards children, and the imagination that is written in this is very targeted towards like children between 4th through 7th. It's adventurous because Pippi goes through all the adventures. I should stop holding the book. But Pippi goes through many adventures in the book. Every chapter is a different experience that she goes through. This book is also a classic. I mean, it was made long time ago, but this book, the cover was published in 2005, so I have a 2005 type of edition in it. And it's also humorous because Pippi, her humor is very like kiddish, and her interactions with adults like question like authority and how she imagines what like an adult would act like towards the response, but her responses are very childlike. On page 71, I really like the quote, "I'm going to stay here until I retire and get a pension." I thought that was funny because I don't think a lot of kids know what a pension is. So I think when an adult is reading this, they understand what it is, but they don't. So it's like, kind of reminds me of like, what is it called? Like Puss in Boots and like those type of movies where like they have like hidden adult jokes in them. So it can really honestly be entertaining for like an adult reading to children. It's not like bland for the adult to read. The strengths for this book, it has a female main character, very strong leading role. I think also, doesn't say in the book, but I think she has ADHD, and I think the way that she's very spontaneous with her ideas and like she always gotta move somewhere, it's very ADHD-like, and I think a kid with ADHD would really resonate with this character. It promotes imagination and being curious. Just the whole Pippi's very imagining. She lies a lot. I think that's another thing with her imagination and like where she goes and like all this jewelry and gold that she owns, and like her style is very like adventurous, like to even be doing. She's very confident in her manners. She doesn't ever get sad or like mad technically throughout the book. I mean, she does kind of get sad when the teacher part comes up, but she's very powerful with like her standing up and being herself. The weaknesses in this book, there's topics that you kind of don't really want to explain to like a younger kid. I think 4th grade to 7th grade kind of touches in it. Her father is from, well, she says he died, but she likes to imagine that he's actually a leader on a cannibal island. I don't know if you would want to like talk to your kids about cannibalism. I know I wouldn't talk to my kids about that from 1st through 3rd grade. They just wouldn't understand what that is. They know what like different topics, but that one's a little iffy. There's a lack of parental guidance because some of these topics you kind of don't want your kid to like be doing, like especially when like she gets told to do this and then she doesn't do it. I think that's an issue, kind of. You kind of don't want to promote that to a kid because sometimes kids like to reflect on what they read. They tend to take their personalities a little bit sometimes. I think that would be an issue. And also the lying within the book. She lies a lot, and you can make that into like, why do you not lie? Why does she lie? And that can connect to like the parental guidance on like the aspect, and also her not going to school is also a big thing. Like I've mentioned a couple times, I think the grade level is from 4th through 7th. The language in this book is fine. I just find it hard explaining what a cannibal is to a younger student, and I've seen that some 3rd graders can read this book, and like some people do recommend you give a 3rd grader this book. I wouldn't. I would not do that. The author is very descriptive with her words. So imagining things is really easy when you're reading it. Just very like goes into detail on like what is happening, what is she wearing, and stuff like that. I also really liked how Pippi never used her powers for bad. She always used it for good, and she never talked about her powers like trying to come off cocky in a way, like that she has those powers. And for an activity, I would have my students write what power they would use or what they were born with and how they would use it for good, and then I would have them draw their character with like clothes that resemble them, or make a character out of their imagination, whatever they feel more confident on doing. And then I would apply those students into situations that Pippi was in and have them consider what type of power they would use theirs in, and like see if, oh my goodness, erase, don't, that was bad. They would apply their powers to the situation, and then I would question them on why they would use their power in that situation, and if Pippi's powers were more beneficial than theirs, and if they had the same one, why did they pick that power, and did they really like it because Pippi also had that power. Okay, that's it.